Good afternoon, everyone. In today's class, let's look into Unit 12, which is about quality, the concepts and dimensions of quality. So, when we talk about quality management, what we are actually talking about is maintaining proper standards in everything that an organization does in its day to day activities. Okay, so whenever we are talking about quality management, what we are actually talking about is maintaining proper standards in everything that an organization does in its day to day activities. So, and what is the main purpose of it? The main purpose behind this quality management is to achieve a long term success and goals of the organizations in a consistent and a reliable way. So, the quality is very important in order to gain the long term success. So, now in today's world, quality is not something random or vague. It is actually guided by certain internationally accepted standards, and these standards are commonly known as the total quality management. So, the internationally accepted standards, and there are certain internationally accepted standards, and these standards are commonly known as the total quality management, or simply we call it TQM. And this TQM focuses on improving the quality of products, services, and processes in a very structured manner. So the quality management makes sure that whatever an organization produces, be it a product or services, it remains consistent, it stays reliable, and it is satisfactory to the people who use it. And this is extremely important because the inconsistency in the quality, it can lead to the dissatisfaction and or even the loss of trust among the public. So it is important to maintain the consistent quality. And the quality management is not just one activity. It actually includes four major components. These are quality planning, quality assurance, quality control, and quality improvement. All these actually work together to ensure that the final output meets expectations. So, another important thing to understand is that quality management is not only focused on the final product or service, but it is also focused on the process through which that product or service is created. Because if the process itself is not proper, then the output obviously won't be of good quality. So it is important to focus on both the it is important to focus quality in both the process of making product and the product itself, the output itself. So if you are not paying proper attention or proper quality in the process, how will the output be that of even good quality? So if you're not paying attention to the process itself, the product also won't be of good quality. So it is important to maintain the quality in the process as well in order to get the better output or the better product. So the organization focuses both on controlling the processes and ensuring the quality of the final result. And this will help in maintaining the consistency over time. And also, now when we talk about quality, we must also remember that the quality is actually decided by the customer, because what the customer wants and what they are willing to pay what they are willing to pay, it becomes the real measure of quality. In the context of public administration, quality means that government organizations must be able to meet the expectations of the citizens, both in the services they provide and the way they treat people, because people today expect respect, efficiency, and fairness. Earlier, people used to, accept whatever services the government provided without questioning much. But today, the situation has changed significantly because people are more aware of their rights and there are legal protections available. So they expect high quality services. So in simple words, we can say that quality means how well a product or service performs its intended functions and satisfies the needs of the people. So now let's understand the concept of quality in more detail. So the word quality is used very commonly in our day-to-day life. But the problem is that it does not have a single fixed meaning. So and different people understand it in different ways, depending on their perspective and the experience. Quality is something that is, perceptual, which means it depends on how a person sees or feels about something. And it is also subjective, which means different people can have different opinions about the same product or service. Because of this reason, many experts have defined quality in different ways over time. And even today, there is no complete agreement among experts about one single definition. So now let us look into some important definitions given by different experts. So the Philip Crosby, he defined quality in a very simple way by saying that quality means conformance to requirements, which means doing things exactly as they are supposed to be done. In W. Edwards Deming, he connected quality with management, and he explained that when quality improves, costs actually go down and productivity increases because better processes leads to fewer mistakes. And also, according to American Society for Quality, quality can be understood in two main ways. Where one meaning is that it refers to the characteristics of a product or service that help it satisfy needs, and another meaning is that it is a product or service that is free from defects or problems. Also, Peter Drucker also gave an interesting definition or idea by saying that the quality is not what the producer puts into the product, but it is what the customer actually gets and values, which again shows the customer satisfaction is more important aspect in the quality. So these are some extra definitions. So basically from all this definition, there is one important conclusion we can draw, which is that different people in an organization view quality differently. Customers focus on how good the product is, producers focus on whether it meets specification, and support staff focuses on reliability and maintenance. Now let's look into some aspects of quality. The first aspect is quality planning. So the quality planning means identifying who the customers are. After identifying your customers, you need to understand their needs. And based on understanding the needs, you need to keep designing products, systems, and processes in which a way that those needs can be met effectively. So the second aspect is quality assurance. Quality assurance means giving confidence that the product or service Quality assurance means giving confidence that the product or service will meet the required standards, and this is done by preventing errors through proper monitoring and systematic processes. Assurance is the second aspect of quality. And third aspect of quality is control. Quality control focuses on checking the final output, and it ensures that the product or service meets the required standards by using inspection and testing methods. This is the third aspect, which is the quality control. And the fourth aspect we have is the improvement, quality improvement. So the quality improvement means continuously improving processes and systems. like either by making small changes over time or by making significant improvements when necessary. Now let's look at the history of quality. So although quality management as a formal concept was, relatively very recent, this idea of maintaining quality has existed for a really long time. In the early 1900s, pioneers like, F.W. Taylor and Henry Ford, they realized that mass production was leading to inconsistent quality. So they have introduced methods like inspection and standardization. Also later, experts like Edward Deming and Joseph M. Juran, they played major role in improving quality practices, especially in Japan. And later, these ideas were, eventually spreading across the globe. And in the recent years, globalization and outsourcing to countries like China and India have increased competition. As a result, quality standards have improved significantly worldwide. International standards like ISO 9000 have become widely accepted for maintaining quality in organizations. The dimensions of quality. There are eight dimensions of quality which were given by the Garvin. So the first dimension is performance. So performance basically refers to how well a product performs its main function, and it will include measurable characteristics that can be, compared across the products. So performance is the first dimension. And the second dimension we have is the features. So the features are additional elements that improve the usefulness or attractiveness of a product, such as extra functions or benefits. And the third dimension is reliability. Reliability means how consistently a product works without failure over a period of time. And this is very important for users who depend on the product. The fourth dimension is conformance. Conformance means how closely a product meets the specified standards or requirements, including the allowed limits of variations. So this is the fourth dimension. And the fifth dimension we have is the durability. So the durability, it refers to how long a product lasts before it needs replacement or becomes unusable. This lifespan is called as durability. So the sixth and next dimension we have is serviceability. Serviceability refers to how easy it is to repair or maintain a product, including the availability of service centers and responsiveness of service staff. So the seventh dimension is aesthetics. Aesthetics simply means, how the product looks or how the product feels or how it sounds or tastes, and it is based on the personal preferences. So this is the seventh dimension, which is aesthetics. And the eighth and the last dimension is perceived quality. What is perceived quality? Perceived quality is based on the customer's perception, which may be influenced by brand image, reputation, or advertising, even if the actual quality is not fully known. So basically, quality is an essential part of modern management and administration. And as people's expectations continue to rise, organizations must focus on delivering high quality products and services. Quality can be understood in many ways, such as reliability, fitness for use, conformance, but ultimately it is about satisfying the customer needs. And quality management includes planning, assurance, control, and continuous improvement, and these help organizations maintain high standards. So, the eight dimensions of quality provide a clear framework to evaluate products and services, although measuring quality in services can be more challenging compared to physical products. So, the overall quality is not just a concept but a continuous effort to improve and satisfy people in the best possible way. Now, let's look into Unit 13. So, the Unit 13 here is about the quality control. So the quality control is a process through which organizations check whether their products or services are meeting the required standards or not. In simple words, it means checking the quality before giving the product to the customer. According to international standards like ISO 9000, the quality control is defined as a part of quality management that focuses on fulfilling quality requirements. This means it is not just about checking but also about ensuring that everything meets the expected level. Quality control mainly focuses on identifying defects or problems in the products. After identifying those defects, the organization decides whether the product should be accepted or rejected. In many cases, especially in government contracts, poor quality control can even lead to cancellation or non renewal of contracts. So, quality control is not just important, it is actually very critical for the survival of any organization. Also, quality depends on three important aspects. So the quality depends on three important aspects. First, the process used in production. Second, the skills and knowledge of employees. And third, the overall organizational culture and environment. If any of this is weak, the final product quality will eventually suffer. So what is the importance of quality control? Quality is one of the most important factors for any product or service. Without quality, no organization can succeed in the long run. Quality control helps organizations deliver products that meet or even exceed customer expectations. Now let's understand its importance. So the first importance is that quality control helps in creating quality awareness among employees. So when employees know that their work is being checked regularly, they automatically become more careful. They start focusing on doing things correctly. This improves the overall quality of work. And the second, quality control ensures customer satisfaction. When customers receive good quality products, they feel happy and satisfied. So, the satisfied customers are more likely to return and buy again. They may also recommend the product to others. This increases the organization's profit. And the third, quality control helps in reducing the costs. If defects are identified early, they can be corrected before the product reaches the customer. This reduces wastage and saves money. It also helps the environment because fewer defective products are produced. So the next, quality control helps in effective use of resources. Resources like raw materials, time, and labor are used efficiently. Nothing is wasted unnecessarily. This helps organization stay within budget. So another important benefit is the reduction in inspection costs. So whenever processes are well controlled, there is less need for repeated checking, and organizations become more confident in their production process. So the quality control also helps in increasing the employee morale. Employees feel motivated when they know what is expected from them. They feel like they are contributing to a bigger goal, and this will create a positive work environment. Quality control also improves production methods. By collecting data and analyzing it, organizations can improve their processes. They can design better equipment and increase efficiency. Finally, the quality control ensures that all products are uniform. So every product meets some standard, and this avoids complaints from customers. So overall, quality control brings many benefits, and no organization can afford to ignore it. Now let's look into the concept of quality control. So the concept is based on three important elements. First, there are process related elements. Second, there is competency of employees, and the third is the soft elements. So the first element of the concept of quality control is the process related elements. These include proper planning, clear procedures, and maintaining records. So everything should be organized and well managed. And the second element is competence of employees. So employees should have proper knowledge, skills, and experience. Without skilled workers, quality cannot be maintained. And the third element is the soft elements. These include motivation, team spirit, trust, and organizational culture. Even if processes and skills are good, poor work culture can affect the quality. So all these three aspects must work together. If any of them fails, the quality of output will also be affected. Now let's look into the history of quality control. So in early days when the products were made manually, there were actually no standards of measurements. So every product was different. And during the industrial revolution, mass production started. Factories began producing large quantities of goods. But the problem was that products were not uniform. Some were good, some were defective, and to solve this, the quality control methods were introduced. Initially, products were compared with simple sketch. If the product did not match the sketch, it was rejected. This was called the no go, go or no go method. And later, around 1840, the tolerance limits were introduced. The tolerance method in 1840, the tolerance limits were introduced. It means that products were accepted if they were within certain limits. So they use special tools like some gauges, where- which used to measure the product, which were used to measure the products. But even then, there were defective products which were still being produced. This increased cost due to work and rework. So the new methods were developed to improve the quality. Over time, quality control became more scientific and systematic. And then we have developed certain tools of quality control, Now let us, look into these tools one by one. First one is the fishbone diagram. The fishbone diagram is also called as Ishikawa diagram. It helps in identifying the root causes of the problem. This diagram basically looks like a fish skeleton, the skeleton of the fish. And the problem is written at the head. So different causes are written as branches. So it helps in brainstorming and finding the solution. That is one method that is one tool of quality control, which is the fishbone diagram. And next we have the control chart. A control chart is used to monitor processes. It shows whether a process is stable or not. It uses graphs to track performance over time. And another tool we have is the stratification. Stratification means dividing data into groups or categories. It helps in better analysis. For example, grouping data based on location, time, or type. And we have another tool which is called Pareto chart. The Pareto chart shows the most important problems. It follows the 80 by 20 rule. This means 80% of the problems come from the 20% of the causes. That is called 80 by 20 rule. And this is called a Pareto chart. And another tool we have is histogram. A histogram shows the distribution of data. So it basically helps in understanding patterns and variations. So the bars in histogram touch each other because data is continuous. And then we have scatter diagrams. A scatter diagram shows the relationship between two variables and it helps in understanding the patterns and correlations. Now let's look into some approaches to quality control. The first is the statistical quality control, which is SQC, in which we use statistical methods. And the second is the total quality control, which involves all the departments. And the third is statistical process control, which monitors processes using charts. And the next is company-wide quality control, which focuses on continuous improvements. And then comes the total quality management, where the entire organization focuses on quality. And we have another approach called Six Sigma, which aims to reduce defects to almost zero. And finally, we have Lean Six Sigma, which combines the efficiency and quality improvement. Now, let us understand some challenges. So, the biggest challenge is lack of management commitment. So, one of the biggest challenges is lack of management commitment. So, without support from top management, quality control cannot succeed. Another challenge is the poor planning. If the planning is done properly, quality will suffer. I mean, if the planning is not done properly, the quality will suffer. And another challenge is the lack of communication is also a major challenge. And we have some other challenges like employees must be, they are not well informed or involved. That is also another challenge. And training is also an important challenge. So many workers, they lack the training. Without proper training, employees cannot perform well. And high employee turnover also affects the quality. Also, the lack of investment in equipment is also another problem. And supplier issues can also affect product quality. All these challenges are actually interconnected. So, these are some challenges. So, the quality control is essential for every organization. It ensures better products, satisfied customers, and efficient processes. It helps reduce costs and improve productivity. Although there are challenges, they can be managed with proper planning and commitment. In today's competitive world, quality is not optional, it is actually a necessity, it is necessary. And organizations that focus on quality will always succeed. So this is all for today's session. Thank you, everyone.